listening to Balloon Killers. I'm your host, Chrissy Riley, and each episode I'll be talking to someone from the world of cowboy mounted shooting, which is one of the most exciting and fastest growing equestrian sports. Hold on to your hats because it's going to get western. Hey there, shooters. I am so sorry it's been a while, but work has been really punishing since I got back from my trip to Mongolia. And then I also had a surgery about a month ago that I've been recovering from. So unfortunately, Balloon Killers was one of the things that had to take a bit of a back seat for a minute, but I am back. Yay! Mongolia was probably just as amazing as you would imagine, and to truly do it justice, I'd need a whole day to tell you everything. But in a nutshell, it was really just an incredible cultural experience. I mean, we rode camels, we rode horses, we rode reindeer. We stayed with nomadic Mongolian families in gers and teepees. We ate a whole lot of mutton, which, to be honest, was probably not my favorite part of the trip. I don't think I can ever look at mutton the same way again. And we also we ate these homemade yogurts and creams. And I felt really good when I got back from Mongolia physically. And I think it's because I hadn't been eating any of the processed foods or sugars or anything that are in a lot of the foods that we eat here. My Mongolian horse was a really cute, stout little 2-ish, I think, sorrel, and I called him Roger. To say I was obsessed with the little guy would probably be an understatement. I mean, I actually still wake up wondering what Roger's doing right now. He was probably older than some of the others, but he gave me everything that he had. I mean, he carted my 5'11", 160-pound butt in a gallop across the steppe. He climbed up these treacherously slippy, muddy hills. We went through pine forests, we went through bogs, and in some of the bogs he sank right up past his hocks in some places and then just kept on going. And what's so interesting about the Mongolian horses is that they are essentially semi-feral, so they obviously aren't trained in the way that we train our horses. They saddle them up or they load them with packs, and the horses eventually learn that it's pretty much easier to get with the program than to fight it. And then they get turned out until they're needed again. And Roger was definitely an old pro. He'd done this many times before and he didn't give me any grief, which was nice. What was funny though was I wore a pair of my shooting chinks to protect my legs in the rain and through the pine forests and everything. And of course, they had the added benefit of helping me to look good on my adventures. But the horse herders were initially really quite concerned about the fringe spooking the horses, to the point that I didn't know if I'd be able to wear them, which would really have bummed me out. It turns out, though, that Roger didn't really care much, so the horse herders eventually relaxed about the chinks. And it was funny because when we visited with other Mongolian families on our travels, they would be looking at the chinks with these questioning eyes, and then the herders would explain the benefits of the chinks to them. So I think I converted them. My reindeer was the only white riding reindeer, and he had these huge antlers and they were incredibly majestic. He even had a unicorn sort of horn growth on one of his antlers, and I called him Snow King for obvious reasons. It was weird because the reindeer were kind of narrow, so finding balance when you ride them is a little tricky at first, but they're super smooth to ride. So eventually we were going up and over rocks and through the bogs to herd the other reindeer in from grazing, and it was just a really unique and cool experience. I would highly recommend it if you're ever thinking about it. Anyways, back to the usual programming. My guest for this episode is a well-versed equestrian who puts her energy and skill set into mounted shooting. Her goal is simple, and that's to help horses and help riders be the best they can be. Carrie Hirshberg has created Hirshberg Performance Horsemanship in Tonopah, Arizona, where she has a facility that fosters improving the rider, improving the horse, and ultimately improving the performance. She's earned numerous local and national titles and has trained others to success too. So enough from me, let's hear from Carrie. Hi, Carrie. How are you doing today?
Hey, doing well.
So we're coming up on a new shooting year, but how did the last year go for you? What were some of your successes and challenges?
So the last year went really well. I'm still riding what I consider a younger horse, and he's kind of like a young little superstar, but also a delicate flower. And when it's time to shine, I was able to push him, and we've been able to basically like kind of win some showcases and stuff like that, which I was really proud of, and really hold our own at at the highest level. So I don't really have like the biggest titles to, say I embarked on last year. But I'm really proud of the relationship and the horse I've developed this past year that I'm hoping will do really big things this coming season.
And that's so important, isn't it? That we celebrate the achievements of our young horses coming through. And I saw your Facebook post celebrating this actually, and I thought that was such a great thing to be celebrating, that we are looking to the future rather than just worrying about wins and buckles.
Yeah, there's everybody has their season of winning. And, you'll see different people kind of win at different times. And it all comes down to the blessing that they're riding. I really do say. Like the horses we ride, man, they're just incredible athletes. They have hearts of their own. They love the game. And so I'm really excited to be riding the horse that I'm riding, to have developed him, and just the future seems really bright. And so everybody gets their time to shine, and sometimes it pops up here and there, and sometimes it's long running. But I'm one of the type of people that, even though yes, I'm very competitive and I want to win, I'm there for the long haul. I'm there for the journey. I love developing horses, and it just makes winning that much sweeter.
Yeah, I just started working with a horse. Well, I've been working with him for a little while on and off, but due to treatment, I've not been consistent with him yet. But every time I work with him, I can see he's a little bit scared of the shooting. He's a little bit afraid.
Yeah.
He still tries so hard, and it sort of almost breaks my heart, how hard he's
Yeah.
trying to do what I want him to do and be what I want him to be.
Yeah. No, it's a fun process.
So you've been involved in mounted shooting for quite some time. Tell us how you got involved in it.
So I've been involved in shooting for 13 years now, which is like half the amount of time as a lot of the top level six shooters. But 13 years, it's a substantial amount. And so I guess I'm considered like a veteran shooter to a lot of people. So it's kind of funny how I got involved. I've always been like riding horses for people. And through college, I had my own jumping horse, and I was riding a string of Grand Prix jumping horses for a couple. So I was literally jumping 5 foot jumps, competing, winning, doing very, very well. And during that time, this is really crazy. I have a crazy horse upbringing. Is I got to ride a 1D barrel horse for a couple, and I did that for 3 years. So I was doing like extreme English and extreme Western at the same time. It was crazy. So the owner of the barrel horse, his brother was a mounted shooter. And so he would come over and visit, and he would tell us how his mounted shooting went the following weekend. And I just thought it sounded like the dumbest thing ever. Like, here I am jumping 5-foot jumps. Here I am running and winning on a 1D barrel horse. And he's telling me how he's running around shooting balloons. And I'm like, that's the dumbest thing ever. I know, it's the honest truth. So look at me now. So it goes like this. I had helped start horses for the guy who owned the barrel horses, and the shooting brother had bought one. And this horse didn't end up being anything, but he had said that he had gun broke it. And so where I did all my jumping was in St. Louis in Missouri at the National Equestrian Center. I pretty much lived there during the wintertime competing. And the Missouri Big Irons had a practice there in the B Arena. It's a covered indoor facility. And so they strapped guns on me, or holsters, hand me some guns, and they said, just shoot behind you. So I'm on this horse that supposedly gun broke, and my first shot's a cross shot, and the horse jumps like 6 feet to the right. I complete the course. I hit a few of my balloons. It was literally the most fun I've ever had. Like, it was so awesome. And my horse wasn't, like, it was the first time the horse had ever been shot off of. So they totally tricked me. I get to the end of the arena, and the owner, I'll name drop him, his name's Rich Honey, was literally had his knees in the arena dirt, belly laughing because he had never shot off the horse before. So it was a total joke on me, but that's literally what got me hooked in shooting. So, so ever since that moment, his brother then wanted to get into shooting, and I've just been making shooting horses ever since. So I make a shooting horse, and then somebody would take it. I make another one, and then the wife would take it, and then I make another one. So ever since then, I've just been making shooting horses. And the point in my life changed where I wasn't in college anymore. I had a corporate job, and I lost kind of the flexibility to do my other horse sports, and I was getting my master's, and I just didn't have time. Mounted shooting just fit my life. So you could put as much into it or as little into it as you want, and you can still show up on the weekend and have a great time. So that's kind of my intro to mounted shooting. I literally thought it was like the dumbest thing ever, people running around shooting balloons. And now that's what I do for a living, is I teach people how to go around and shoot balloons to the best of their ability.
I love that story. And it's interesting that you started in English as well. I also started in English, and I really do think it gives a strong foundation for riding. I think there's some bad habits that you get through English too, but I think it's provided a strong foundation to be able to pick up sort of any other sport, really.
Yeah, I'm very thankful for the years I've had in other disciplines. So since I did jumping, I did show jumping at a very high level. And, I was competing. So through all those years in jumping, you work under a trainer, you work with a trainer. And so though I never boarded at a jumping barn, I would haul there, and I would buddy up with a trainer, the designated trainer at an event, and you work with them. So I was getting lessons every weekend of my life, really, until I started mounted shooting. And so through having somebody, analyzing your riding and your performance, your training, I was just able to keep improving as a competitor, improving as a rider, improving as a trainer myself, horse trainer, getting results out of my horse and my performance. I feel like since I was so committed to, that discipline and receiving training and open to it, that now I'm really able to pass that knowledge on to other people. And that's what I do day in and day out. People come to me for horsemanship. And the fun part of, the horsemanship here is the shooting, really. But the way you become a good shooter and you don't plateau is really through your horsemanship. So people come to me to become to improve their communication with their horse and become a good rider and a good partner. And then really the sky's the limit.
So, on that note, tell us about your approach to training new shooters and new shooting horses.
So I have a little different approach than probably other trainers or other coaches. So I look at us and I look at the horse as an athlete. And so, like our brand is Hirshberg Performance Horsemanship. So we are performing in the sport that we do. And so, there's a certain aspect and angle to it, to where we need to be athletic. The horse needs to be working as a performance horse, not just a horse. And the rider does too. So I go over a lot of, like riding techniques that make you really athletic, balanced and athletic, to where, we're able to communicate with the horse while still, locking in on the target. And then every clinic I do, we're fine tuning the horses to make them athletes so they can perform better too. And then in time, they come together and then they just become a superstar team.
I've heard that you do regular Saturday clinics, and I've been told to ask you if people are listening to this and they want to work with you and go to your Saturday clinics, what do they need to do?
Yeah, so every Saturday, it's correct, I do a clinic. And so it's part horsemanship, and then we get to the shooting. So then we apply horsemanship, what we did in the drill, and I'll apply it to a few courses, mounted shooting courses. And it's really satisfying, gratifying for everyone that comes. They always come back. And so I have a lot of regulars. They've been coming regularly for 2, 3 years. And so to keep it fair for them, whenever I have somebody new come, I usually have them come for my, HPMS, Hirshberg Performance Mounted Shooting 101 session. So I ask them to come and just do one of those. Sometimes it's with a group if I have several new people wanting to join, or I can just, squeeze them in the day before. And I go over all my lingo, all my terminology. And then that way they can join whatever clinics they want in the future. They can just drop in. I don't care if it's a year from now, they've heard it. And so I can't really coach anybody or have them join the clinics if they don't know, how I work, what I'm going to demand of them, what I'm going to ask of them. So I've had people join in the past that didn't get groomed by me initially. And I just feel like they didn't get everything they needed out of it because I couldn't, like the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Well, I couldn't, drop everybody because sometimes my clinics, they're full, and I can't leave everybody else twiddling their thumbs. So I'm a very one-on-one person anyways at the clinics. So I just found it best that if you're ready to start joining in on the clinics, that we just get you in for a 101, and then it's smooth sailing from there. Then you can drop in whenever you want.
They're very much like training a professional athlete in the way that you described earlier.
Yeah, it is. And I take a lot of pride in shaping humans and horses for this sport. It's like watching a flower bloom. And so, it's my responsibility to, to lay the foundation so we don't have to backtrack. So I lay the foundation so we can just keep building and building and building and building. It's really the same thing for the rider as it is the horse. And so, when it comes to clinics, we're oftentimes, we're taking the approach to, working on both the horse and the rider. So my clinics, oh man, they're a lot of work, but they are just so rewarding and so fun. I'm always energized after it, because everybody gets results. They get aha moments. And what I say is when you come to a clinic, if you can walk away with one aha, then you got your money's worth. And everybody always walks away with at least one.
And you've had a lot of success with some of your athletes, horse and human athletes recently, particularly at Worlds. Do you want to brag on anyone right now?
Yes. So Corbett Mortensen, the Mortensons, Kim and Corbett, man, they came to me probably 3 years ago, and it was right after I injured my leg. So they caught me in a time where, because I'm really a horse trainer, teaching is a lot of work. I'm not going to lie. And so they came to me when I couldn't ride horses. I could only teach. I had a cane, and they're like, yeah, we don't know how to ride, but we want to do mounted shooting. And I'm like, oh my Lord. And then they're like, oh, and we want to go to Vegas next year. I'm like, do you know how much work that is? Like, you have no idea. Like, I don't want you guys to die. So bless their hearts. They don't live locally. They live a good hour and a half away, but they came every weekend since that day and learned how to ride. Literally learned how to ride. They did not ever sit in a saddle. Corbett, last minute decided to go to Worlds. I hauled his horse there last minute. I wasn't even able to haul it home. He had somebody else haul it home. And he went and showed up and showed out. And, he won his class, the senior men's 2 class at the World Finals this year. And the exciting thing about that is his horse wasn't a shooting horse either. Corbett wasn't a rider. And so they're on the up and up. Like, their trajectory isn't, oh, I'm stuck at a 2. They're going to the 3s. They're going to go to the 4s. Like, it's just a matter of time. They're scaling upward. And so to me, this win is incredible, but this isn't the end. It's like, it's just the beginning. They really come into their own, him and his horse. And it's just like a beautiful thing to see. Every Saturday that him and his wife are out, they just bring so much joy and happiness. And they've done other sports in the past, so they understand the commitment, the training it takes, the dedication it takes. And they're in it for the long haul. And they're going to have many years of success with the way they're wired and the way they apply instruction and everything.
You mentioned that you met the Mortensons when you had a leg injury, and I've been told that you've had some pretty serious injuries that have led you to make adjustments and accommodations. Can you tell us about that?
Oh, yes, unfortunately, like 3 years ago, I was working with a young stud colt, and he like tried to kill me. And he blasted off a few kicks, and he double barreled and kicked my tibial plateau on my leg. It was like a bomb went off in my leg. So luckily there was a neighbor driving by in the desert, and he helped me to out of the dirt. And then he got my husband, and it was a mess, but I'm thankful to be alive, and I'm thankful to be able to ride. I can't do other sports or anything like I used to do, but I thank the Lord every day that I'm still able to be full bodied, able rider. Because horses, they're kind of my everything. They're just kind of check all the boxes for me in my life of being kind of um, successful and fully functioning human. I mean, they're my therapy too. They really do everything for me. So I'm very lucky that I found something that does that, and that I didn't have it taken away from an injury. So yeah, I couldn't ride for 5 months, and then it was a process getting going after that. So it really led me to, well, delegate more. It actually probably grew my business because I used to do it all, and now I delegate a lot. So I have people that help me, with all the ranch work, which I used to do the majority of it before. So now I am just focused on, being that trainer and coach, clinician, instructor, where before I was a little more smaller scale. The other thing is, during that period of where I was injured, I would usually say, okay, let me ride I'll tune your horse up and then come back, and then whoop, meet in the middle. I got you going the right direction. I got your horse going the right direction. Now, marry up and off you go. I wasn't able to ride for a really long time. So, but, I was able to teach still. So it really made me a better instructor, because now instead of just telling the rider how to become a better rider, I was able to tell them how to train their horse, how to make their horse better. And I couldn't hop on to fix the horse out of a problem and say, hop back on. If they ever got stuck, I say, hey, hop off, let me get the result out of your horse, and the horse knows. And then, you hop back on and now you can do it. I couldn't do that. So it really grew me as a professional, in probably ways that are blessing myself and everybody now. I work with people of all ages, and, a lot of people have been injured in their lifetime. I was invincible. I had no injuries. And now I totally understand. I get it. And so since I work with a lot of people that have had injuries or have rods or plates or screws or whatever, I'm very aware of it. I work around it. I get it.
I really appreciate how you have sort of taken a really difficult situation and taken a positive approach to that and found the silver lining.
Yeah, it definitely, like I said, unfortunately, it is something I'm going to deal with the rest of my life. But, as you said, blessings come in every shape and size. So I definitely am not able to do what other normal people can do, but I'm still able to ride. And, it's kind of like, I guess, if you can't see for a while, all your other senses are going to get heightened. And so that's kind of what happened to me in a professional manner for being, that much better of an instructor.
Yeah, I can fully understand that. I think as I was going through my cancer treatment, one of the things that I sort of took out of it was prior to the cancer treatment, I had become a little bit competitive and was getting really hard on myself when I
Yeah.
didn't do well at shoots. But through the cancer treatment and through having that diagnosis, it really pushed me to be grateful that I'm even able to do it. So whether I win or
Yes.
not, the fact that I'm doing it and able to do it, I just count myself so blessed and so lucky every time I get on that horse.
So what I tell people is, because I had never been out other than having my son, which is normal, which you're out of the game for a while, and it is a big adjustment and everything, and your body and everything. But other than that, I've never really been injured, and nothing that's taken me away from riding. And so it was a really big wake up call. Horses have gotten injured, other people have gotten injured, but I haven't. And so it changes your perspective on things, in the sense that, what we do is very expensive and we all have to make it work. And, some people are like, oh, I don't know if I should go to this event, or, and I'm like, you know what? If you're healthy and your horse is healthy, I'd give it all you got to go and have a great time. I say don't pass up the opportunity if it comes along. So that's kind of my new motto. If you're healthy and your horse is healthy, just do the dang thing. Go have fun.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same way right now and very much seize the moment. So I'm going to kind of change directions a little bit here, but this is a question that I've asked everybody on the podcast, and that's tell us about your balloon poppers. What do you shoot and why? And perhaps you have recommendations that you make to your clients.
So I'm a Ruger girl. I shot Rugers for 10 years. It just happens to be what I started with. They just said it's a super reliable gun. And so I shot that for 10 years. And then, since it was kind of, Rugers were like the main gun, I felt. And then everybody was using, like a lighter gun or something different. So for a few years, I went to a Taylor, the short stroke running iron. And some people have a lot of success with them. I had success. I also had a lot of issues. So that ended abruptly, and I went back to my Rugers and have been doing great ever since. So I personally, I know everybody shoots something different. It's all what you're used to. I'm a Ruger girl. I just feel like they're so durable. They last a long time. I don't have any finicky issues with them like other people do with other guns, or like I had in the past with the other brand I tried using for a while. And so I highly recommend a Ruger. If you can get your hands on Rugers, you're definitely you have a gun for the long haul.
Yeah, I'm the same way now, and it's pretty difficult to get them sometimes because they are so popular, but they are
Yeah,
well worth waiting for sure.
yeah, they definitely are.
I just signed up for the Tombstone shoot. It's kind of a bucket list shoot for me. I was wondering, what's the one shoot that you don't miss each year?
So the tombstone shoot is so much fun. I think I mean, you're a tombstone, so you're like getting
Yeah.
away to a whole different scenery vibe area. It's during a holiday, or right after a holiday, so it's not like you'd be doing anything anyways. So there's just a whole different freedom element, camaraderie to it. So tombstone is so much fun. This is something I never thought I'd say, that Vegas. I don't know if it's because in the middle of summer here and we live in Arizona, it's hot. And Vegas happens to be right in the middle of our hot season. And it's just so awesome to get away for a week. We have an 8-year-old, and it's so much fun for him between the pool and the bowling and, the ice cream shop and just everything is just all in one building. It's so much fun for friends and family to join. When you're at other events, any other event, you're at the venue for just horse stuff. And, you're living out of your trailer or a hotel down the road. And it's really just, your two arenas with the shooting going on. Well, Vegas is like a big party because, like I said, you can have friends, relatives, family come, and everybody has a great time. And it's a major with the showcases and everything. It's just fun. So I would say, a Missouri girl, I never thought I'd go to Vegas in my life because I'm not an indoor person. So why would I travel across the country to go inside? And now that I live in Arizona, I'm outside all the time. I love it.
I can definitely understand that. And that's another one that is on my list. And the way you've just spoken about it has made me definitely want to try and get to that one next year. And I love that idea of, family and friends coming in for that. I'd never thought
Yeah,
about.
make it a party. It's just
Right.
fun. Everybody has a great time there. At Vegas, there is something for everybody.
For sure. What is your favorite pattern and why?
Oh man, I love anything like the fast shooting is fun and challenging, but I really like it when we get to go. Like when you get to go fast into a pattern and cover some ground. I don't care if you have to stop and turn. I like it when you get to go up the arena line, or just you get to really feel the adrenaline of the horse speed. So I don't really have a favorite pattern in particular. I personally love horsemanship patterns, where there's a lot of turning and everything. I love it. I love the challenge. One of my favorite patterns is, I should probably be telling you the number, but it's where there's like 5 in a row, and you usually split between 4 and 5. Then you round the random barrel and go back up. A lot of people don't like that pattern. It's always been a favorite.
Mhm.
Um, and it's because you get to go up the line, your horse sits down, and then bam, 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 turn the barrel to barrel. I don't know. I like to run. It's fun. And I've been blessed to have awesome horses underneath of me, with a lot of power and that can cover ground. So I feel like those are my types of patterns.
I like those ones too. I like that one where you go straight up, like it's straight up, and I think it's three, and then you turn like a right angle, and then there's
Yeah.
two, and then you come round the barrel, and there's that diagonal rundown. That one I think is my absolute favorite pattern for the same reasons you described, where you can just let it go.
Yep, those. Yeah, I call that one the wedge.
Yes.
And that is one. You just go blazing up and through. And I actually won on my young horse on a showcase on that one. I was shocked. He turned it on and he sat that barrel and cranked around, and I was so proud of him that night. That was at I think Southwest Regionals or the major or something like that. Yeah, that's a fun one. I love those types of patterns. I love going.
Well, speaking of winning, what's the win that you're most proud of and why?
Um, I mean, I guess like my biggest accomplishment win would be in 2000, was it 18 or 19? I was the overall cowgirl at Western Nationals, so in Vegas, and it was with Lou, a horse that brought me up through the ranks. So she was my probably level 2 or 3, and she had the power um, and athleticism to take me to a top level 6, not just a 6, the ability to win
Yeah.
at the 6s. And she set a world record. She was a lot of horse to handle, but I was very thankful to win a major with her, because she meant a lot to me, and she developed me and shaped me, and in a lot of ways she was not easy. And so with the horses that aren't easy, they tend to make you grow. And so I'm thankful to her, and all her quirks, problems, power, everything, because she really helped develop me into the horseman that I am, the shooter that I am. And without her, I don't know that I would be who I am. And with her, I've been able to help a lot of people because I learned so much from her. So I'm very thankful to have shared, a win on a big stage like that with her, because she kind of shaped our program, with the products we use and we share with everybody else and help them out as well.
I so appreciate how you're bringing it back to the horse again. You're not focusing on yourself, but you're focusing on how amazing your horse is. I just love that.
I feel like wins come and go. My husband and I always talk about, we want to win and we're going to win in the future. But then everybody goes back to their normal life.
Yeah.
And so what do we have to carry and cherish? It's the journey. It's what's developed us and made us along the way. And so there's going to be wins along the way. I can guarantee you that. And, I'm on track to do that with my next horse. But I'm very thankful for the horse that I got to win that championship on.
So everyone knows Carrie Hirshberg as a mounted shooter, especially people listening to this podcast. So what's a little known fact about you that the mounted shooting community might not know?
Everybody sees me as like open and bubbly. I'm actually an introvert. I've had to come out of my shell a lot. Like as far as talking in front of people and everything, that is not my thing. In fact, I had bought a speaker system, to use in the arena. And it was so awkward to hear myself talk. And I didn't use it for the longest time, but I had a clinic and it was a full clinic and I was fine, but I was hoarse. I couldn't talk, nothing would project. And so I used my speaker system for the first time with that. And then I was like, wow, that was incredible. I still had energy after my clinic, which usually I'm exhausted from projecting the whole time. And now I use it all the time. And it's little things like that of help me grow as a person. We'll host events and I'll have to speak in front of people. I'm actually an introvert.
I can completely relate to that. Before I started the job that I'm in now, I was a very sort of my job was very much writing and I was quiet and I
Yes.
did it at home and I didn't really have to talk to anybody. And then
Mm-hmm.
the job that I have now requires me to actually go and facilitate professional learning to large
Yes.
groups of teachers. And I remember the first time I was shaking in my boots, my voice was quivering. I was holding my notes with a death grip.
Yeah.
I think I was probably reading my notes word for word, but the more I did it and the more I had to do it, the more confident I became. But the funny thing is that when people meet me through my work, they think I must be this really confident, outgoing person. And
Right.
actually,
Yep.
I am still that writer who loves to be in my house, quiet, without having to deal with too many people.
Exactly. I feel the same way.
Now, I know that you probably spend an awful lot of time on the road, or you have done in the past. What's the most useful thing in your trailer when you're on the road, and what should we all have?
This can go a bunch of different ways, but the initial thing I thought of, and I have several products that I love and recommend, but whenever you initially said that, the first ping in my brain was gut health. So that horse Lou I talked about that we won, a national title with,
Mhm.
she was what I considered high maintenance, and which basically means ulcery.
Yeah.
And I learned about a product through her issues, and it was through Basic Animal Health and their gut health line, and it's a gel. And so anytime a horse gets on that trailer, or we're at an event, or we're stalling at an event, these horses are getting gel, the Basic Animal Health gel, gut health gel. And I couldn't I couldn't do what I do without it. And we've helped hundreds of horses with it at events, because guess what? It's in our trailer.
I am adding that one to my list as we speak. So, what's next? You've talked about your young horse and how that horse is up and coming, but what are your plans and ambitions for the future?
I have a lot of plans for the future. I feel like I'm in my building phase still. I'm 35, and at 30, I thought I would have a lot more accomplished. Now, 5 years later, I feel like I've accomplished what I wanted to at 30, but I feel like I'm still building. It's been a never ending effort of like building. But I feel like I have a few more years of building left before really laying the foundation for what I want in the future to where I can really enjoy it. My husband Trevor and I, we built a really solid business, and but I feel like we don't get to enjoy it yet because we're still in the building phase. So right now I'm currently working on a website. It'll be done in a week, and or mostly done. And so I'm really excited to not only have information out there for others to show. I want to do a lot of interactive stuff. There's some um, toolkit books out there, of like drills for mounted shooting or something like that. And so I want to be able to put some on my website of interactive, showing them, like media, showing them how they can, like view that drill and kind of work through it with me. Different stuff like that. So it seems like I've been really quiet, not doing a lot. I've been doing a lot behind the scenes. So I'm excited for it to all come to fruition. So I'm about ready for the first phase to be over with this website, and then I'll get to the interactive part soon. The other thing is that I'm also doing a website for the Arizona Mounted Shooting Foundation, and so it's a business, LLC, and so we actually have a club through CMSA called Arizona Mounted Shooting Foundation. But really, what it is it's a platform, and so I've been reaching out in different ways to promote cowboy mounted shooting on different platforms. And so, we have other clubs that host kind of like the main, regular CMSA sanctioned events. And then, we have, other more practice type styles out here. And so I'm looking to, host like one massive event every year. We're blessed to have amazing sponsors that support us. And then now I'm kind of looking into other facets, whether it's more rodeo stuff or whatever, just to keep promoting the sport.
I am so excited about both of those things that you just described. I'm always looking for new resources that will help me to work on things at home. I have some amazing instructors in the area, but have to travel to see them. So when I'm not able to have lessons with them, it's great to have resources that I can lean on to continue to better myself in mounted shooting. So I so appreciate what you're doing, and I can't wait to see that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carrie, for taking the time to talk to me. I am really looking forward to meeting you in person in Tombstone. Check out hirshbergperformance.com for more info about what Carrie and Hirshberg Performance has to offer. If there are balloon killers you would like to hear interviewed, please email me on balloonkillers@gmail.com. That's balloonkillers, all one word, @gmail.com.